we show you how we fish up here in Michigan. It's a little different than what you do in Georgia down there. First of all, I'm out here in the middle of the lake, probably 15-20 feet of water right here. Fishing is similar in Georgia in that you have to have a bait, of course, and you got to get down in the water. The problem here, of course, is a little bit of ice in the way. So what we have to do is drill a hole in the ice. To do that, you use this little gadget here. It's called an ice auger. It's like these things are little bits on the bottom, very similar to a wood drill. Just put it in the ice and start turning, and hopefully you'll have a hole. There's a hole in the ice. Looks like about 6 to maybe 7 inches of ice there. Now I'm going to get my equipment set up, then I'll show you how we fish. Every ice fisherman has to have an ice sled like this. It serves several purposes. One, it carries your equipment on the way out here. Number two, I'll show you in a second, it uses a seat. This is like a little spatula, has little holes in it. One of the problems you encounter with ice fishing is, depending on how cold it is, your hole has a tendency to freeze, so every once in a while you got to reach down there and scoop out the ice. Fishing poles that we use, I've got a couple here. Some real fine line. It has a little teardrop on it. They come in different colors. You'd attach some sort of a grub, a wax worm, or a mousie to the end of that. Insert that down in the hole. Put down enough line till you're almost in the bottom. And you can set it, just kind of vertically jig it like this. On the end of this thing, this orange thing is called a spring bobber. What that does is when the fish taps on it, you get an indication that there's a fish there with the bobber going down. Then you pull up and pull the fish up, pull them out. What you would do when you're fishing, you sit like this. A lot of this fishing is done at nighttime. You'll have a lantern setting right in here. The lantern will serve two purposes. One, light the hole so you can see what you're doing. Number two, to keep your hands warm. You pick your fish up, this hole right here. These are panfish now we're talking about. Take your fish off, throw them in the back of your little sled, put another bait on, and down you go again. Now, a lot of people do this all through the night. We get out back here, we'll show you some ice shanties on the lake. They actually have a little house that they'll carry out here with heat inside it, with little light so that they can keep a little warmer. And they'll sit out there and fish for hours like that. On a good day, you can go out with, about 2 years ago I was out with some friends and I used to ice fish quite a bit. We catch, 3 or 4 of us catch up to 100 fish at a time. Little panfish.
And when you say panfish, are we talking about like little brim? Is that?
Little brim, bluegill, call them pumpkin seeds, sunfish, crappie, that kind of thing. Okay, to catch the whoppers, what we do is, of course, you dig a hole in the ice. Use this little gadget, it's called a tip-up. For catching pike, bass, some trout. It's very similar to a fishing pole, except there's no pole. You have the reel and the bait. The way this works is you put your bait on the end here, in this case a little chub or a little pike minnow. Run a treble hook through him. Feed the line out the bottom here. to whatever depth you want. The reason it's called a tip-up is once you get it down, then this just sets in a hole. Once you get it down like this, the flag is down indicating that your bait is still on there. When a pike or another fish come along and grab the bait, you pull on the line and the flag flies out. At that point, you run over, pick it up out of the water, and either reel it in like this or just hand over hand pull in the fish. They catch fish like this all the time up here. Well, you can set up to 4 or 5 at a time, I believe. Up to 4, I think, is a legal limit. Right. The only real law that comes into play is that you can't. They want you to be any more than 500 feet from any given one, so that you can't set up the whole lake on them. In other words, I have one set up here. I also have one set up over there. I set that up earlier. I stopped at the bait shop this morning, and they've been catching pike like this all year, all around here.